In this thoughtful, fact-based discussion, maybe we could look at NAFTA and that. Where do you kind of rate the danger to NAFTA? Because he came in making these big statements, and at this precise moment, it doesn't seem as if there is a way of getting rid of NAFTA, or there's less.
One of the very first things that we did, and this isn't unique to this particular administration. Any incoming administration needs to hear from Canada about just how important the Canadian-U.S. trade relationship is, because it's often overlooked or taken for granted by American policymakers and lawmakers. We did a really good job of highlighting just how many good middle-class jobs on both sides of the border, but particularly in the United States, depend on the free trade with Canada. So the argument we've made about trade being good for everyone, about amplifying our success on either side of the border, the Auto Pact being a great example of that, where a given part can crisscross the border 6 times before ending up in a finished automobile. We have a relationship unlike just about anyone else in the world between two countries, and a lot of that is based on mutually beneficial trade policies.
Your ambassador in Washington said that he thought the border tax would never happen. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's something which is now off the table?
I'm not going to make any predictions about what's going to come forward on the U.S. side, on policy sides, but I know that we have made a very clear case that adding taxes or a regulation to a part crisscrossing 6 times, the amount of bureaucratic red tape, the amount of layers of impediments to jobs on either sides would be really problematic. And I don't think that people who are promoting that border tax within the American Congress have fully thought through some of the consequences that might.
But do you think this is an area where Trump may have overreached, and actually he's going back? That this is an area where he has no, all hat and no cattle.
I think the issue facing President Trump is that he made a promise to do things that were good for the middle class, and that he was going to help people who felt like they weren't part of the economic success of their country. And killing jobs because of thickening borders between Canada and the U.S. Isn't something that Mr. Trump is particularly interested in.
I'll ask you about TPP, which seems strange, as you haven't said you want to continue with that. You haven't spoken out in favor of that, which sits oddly with your general pro-free trade stance. Is that something you think could be developed without America?
We're in favor of trade deals. We're in favor of progressive trade deals. When we came to office, the Canada-EU deal, CETA, was in big trouble. It was basically stalled. A whole bunch of significant parties in and across Europe had decided that it was a bad thing. And we had to go back to the drawing board a little bit and make it slightly more progressive, and make tweaks to it that would reassure people that there was still a capacity to protect workers, protect the environment, protect labor rights, protect health benefits, those kinds of things. So we're always looking for good trade deals for Canada. I think as we move forward in what seems to be a post-TPP world, we're very much interested in continuing to grow our relationships with Asia, look at how we can pull things together.
But not through TPP itself. It might be separate.
I know there's lots of discussions whether there's going to be a TPP minus the U.S., whether there's going to be different clusters or clumpings or more bilaterals. We're just happy to be engaged in these discussions because we know that trade will benefit both Canadians and our trading partners.